Yeah,
who they
like
are.
maybe
I mean, they just had
archery.
to do that. Yeah, what
Yeah,
was
I
this,
mean, right
Hunger
now,
Games?
uh, in Nordic Combine in the Olympics, there's no women's in that. They decided to not make it, and they never made it. And I find it really sad because there is there's people who want to watch it, and there's people who want to
Mhm.
play it. The IOC, it's the International Olympic Committee, declined to add the women's Nordic Combine,
Yeah, definitely, and,
and
yeah,
I
no,
find
the
that
thing
really
is, it's
sad.
like yeah, and the thing is, like, with, women's sports and men's sports, like, the problem I have with, like, a lot of feminists is that they wanna be like, well, if the m they wanna get paid the same amount, maybe more, than the men, even though, like, for example, if Women's World Cup, they won the World Cup, but the men, like,
Okay,
they barely made
so
it.
outside of sports, I think that the pay gap is incredibly unfair. It still exists, but I think that in sports is something that is really a part of it because like it's not a part of it because it's an exception. It's really different because men
Oh,
are stronger. It's has nothing to do with it.
you still
People
Okay,
believe in the
watch
pay
way
gap?
more.
yeah, why you believe in the pay gap? Because, like, I don't know,
I don't
there's
believe in
jobs.
it. I know it exists. It's not something you believe in. It's not religion. It actually exists.
Well, the
Right, but I
reason
There's
why
mean
he's
statistics.
questioning is because it's been disproven several times.
yeah, because there's a lot of fields, there's a lot of, jobs out there that women get paid more than men because of their skill set. It goes back to the whole, with
Yeah,
sports, it
okay.
kinda
So
full
I'm telling
circle.
you that if we like
Go ahead.
sorry, I got a message. What the fuck?
But yeah, I mean, it goes back to even with the women's sports. I mean, and the men's sports. Men tend to generate more revenue because of their skill set. So whatever job field is there that's required in demand for that
Yes, it
skill
goes
set,
with merit,
they
like
tend.
I said, but it's sad that like it in Canada, okay, I'm gonna talk about Canada because I'm in Canada. Um uh Most physicians, like physicians that are women, usually get 15% less pay as their colleagues who have the same education and the same experience.
But did you
And
What
ask
it's
job field?
why
sad.
though?
Why
You
and
want
what
me to
job
give
field?
you all the statistics? Like I've been talking about like the big gap since this morning. Like, do you want me to just send you all the statistics?
Uh,
Well, okay. I'm sorry. I keep
don't
it
have.
might let me know when I can talk. I didn't know if you guys are
Oh,
having a
you're good.
one-on-one discussion.
No, you're good.
No,
You're good.
everyone can talk. Jack, you can
All right.
talk.
Oh, okay. One of the things that really bothers me when women bring up the pay gap is they don't take in consideration what makes that gap. And one of the things that make that gap is women work less overtime, they take more time off. All these things have been studied. And so when you take those things into consideration, and they even did a study that shows that when women work the same time as men, they get paid more. So even though and even the things that women consider more important to them, like taking time off and being with their family, that goes to show that when the men are working overtime, it's almost like feminists want to say men don't deserve to get compensated for working extra.
So
Yeah.
feminism is not just putting women, it's not just saving women. I hate that it's called feminism. Okay? It's actually on both sides because we're protecting both sides, okay? Second of all, so I have studies that actually count the median income of people, and it doesn't count any of overtime and vacation and all of that. It counts from 40 hours a week, so the average full-time job, and it goes with median of income. So it's
Yep.
counting the women who have a higher income and a lower income, and it counts the men who have a higher and lower income.
But here's the thing
Yeah, but
though.
depending if you're.
My
Oh, go
fault. Go
ahead.
ahead, man, cuz I know you're probably going to say the same thing I'm about to say.
Yeah, and it all the thing is, it's like it all varies depending on what kind of job you're in. So I mean, if you want to compare 40, just like 40 to 40, just dumb it down to 40 hours and compare all
Why
the
do
jobs.
just men don't agree with the pay gap? Why do
Because it's
women
not
who
true.
sees it and men who sees it too, men disagree with it just because they're not the one getting like
Well, one thing I want to
protected
address
in
is
it.
you said something
Because,
that was false, and that was you said feminism is basically, about, fairness, but that's not true. The it's about putting women above men, and I can actually explain why.
Okay, no,
Because
that is
well, can
misandry. I'm
I
not gonna have this conversation with you.
well, I
This is
mean,
misandry.
are
This
you
is
gonna
not
cut me
feminism.
off? Or
You
are you
don't
gonna
understand feminism.
No, I do
it's
understand
not
it.
a
I've been studying it for years. So one of the things about
Oh
feminism
Studying
yeah,
is
I sure you
feminism for
are.
years?
no, yeah,
Okay,
I've been
bro.
studying feminism for years, correct?
Why the
Are you
fuck would you
doubting
do
that?
that?
Yes, I totally am because if you actually think that like feminism is misandry, then you're absolutely retarded.
I
I'm
didn't
sorry to
say
tell you that.
feminism is
yeah,
misandry.
that's
I
kind of
said it's the elevation
Well,
of
yes,
women,
that's what you said. You said
and
feminism is putting women above men.
that's
I'm
not
telling
what
you that
misandry
feminism is
is.
fighting
That's
for
not the definition of
men.
misandry.
Men were thought all those years that they shouldn't cry, they should all like they should be tough and be big and strong, and it's absolutely horrible because men now have to live with that. Feminism is fighting for it.
That's not
Feminism is
sad. And
trying to talk
that's a
and
very feminine thing that you would say, because it's not sad. Men accept
okay.
wait, hold on, because you're gonna interrupt me. Men accept
I said,
that we have a role in society, and that I believe that role was given to us by God. And we're not gonna cry about working hard and providing for our family. It's women who are crying because now that they've changed the hierarchy that God set up, they don't know how to live in a world where they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, they have no duties in society, and men have all the duties. So when women come and they work and they say they want to take time off and be with their family, which they've always looked at that as something that they promote. Now, when they take that time off, they say we still want to get paid as much as men. Well, that's not logical because you didn't work as hard as men.
yeah, and
okay,
the
so
thing
if a woman works as hard as men, has the exact same um merit, do you think she should be paid the same amount?
Absolutely, but guess
yeah.
what? She can't. And I'll explain why. Because the jobs that keep
Oh, but
society, I'll
I'm pretty
explain why.
sure.
Let me
Okay,
explain
I
why.
can.
Yeah, because the jobs that keep society running, meaning the jobs, and we've seen this with COVID-19, the jobs that keep society actually going, whether it be power workers, whether it be people that change the water supply, whether it be people that deliver stuff on trucks, everything that keep us all alive, those jobs are ran by men.
Yeah, and then when you mentioned the whole 40 hours, like if we're comparing 40 hours, it's like it's case by case. You have to. It's hard to differentiate what kind of jobs
Exactly.
pay the same, pay equal. You had to
Yeah,
dumb it
yes,
down
it
to
goes jobs
40
by
hours.
jobs.
Yeah, you had
Um,
to dumb it down to 40 hours. You didn't,
I
it
can
depends
tell
on
you
the kind
that
of job. Go ahead.
there's women who worked and still work as much as men
No, there's
do,
not, because I
and
worked
they
at
don't get the
Steelwork.
same.
I worked at a job called Maynard Steel. It was not one woman working there. And guess what we did? So what we
There's
would do is train with people from all around the country. So we would get a very good specific look at who and the demographics of every steel place in the country. And you maybe in some other country you might know what you're talking about, but I'm pretty sure that what we saw is pretty much the same that you're going to see in every country, and that's that it was less than 5% of the people who were working there were women. And not only that, the jobs that they did were more HR work and clerical work. Nobody was in the steel mill was a woman. So that's just not true.
Dude, if you want to
but
go back to
so
like
I can. Okay, I'm gonna have a place to talk here. So I can absolutely tell you that there are women in this world that are working as hard as men, and they are not getting the same recognition. That is, recognition in pay or not. Okay, uh, there's a lot of women who
But
are
that's not
fighting to
what you
get in
said
politics,
before,
and they
though.
don't get the same they can, okay, no, you will let me talk because there's some recognition that can be with the number of people seeing it and the number of people hearing about it, okay, and we don't put as much cameras on women and men. I'm not talking about sports, okay, I'm talking about in politics. People will not want to see women. Why? Just because it's that way, because people were conditioned to think that women should stay in the house, and I find that really sad. I think women should have the choice to get out of the house or not.
Okay.
I've worked all my life. I'm married, and I'm not a housewife. I'm in the military, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. I make money, but I don't make as much money as my colleagues, and I work as hard as my colleagues.
Can you repeat the point you just said? You said women do what now? When you said they they work just as hard, and what was the overall point?
I don't see every woman. Yes, there is less women in the field. There's more women that stay at home, and there's less women who actually will have a
because that's what
full-time job as much
because
as
they
men
Okay.
do.
Now,
But what I'm telling
yeah.
you is that women will have less recognition to what they do.
What
A man
what
who,
percentage
even
of
in a
steel mill
family, even in
workers
national,
do you think are women?
even in a family, not even in like a job. If a man goes into a family, he will be a god. He will be, oh my god, you're a present father. But when a woman is a present mother, it's okay, like it's
He'll
normal.
actually be made
And
fun
when
of
a
by
father
other
takes care
men.
of their kids, he's babysitting. But when a woman is taking care of her kids, she's just a mother. And when like you do see that there's way
Okay.
less recognition to women
Well,
because
I
women
want to
are
stay on
expected to
topic
do
here
way more.
because I think you're kind of getting a little bit off topic because I wanted to know something specific here. And that is you brought up steel mill and you just happened to be talking to me who worked in a steel mill before. So I'm asking you what percentage of
What is steel
women,
mill? I'm sorry.
yeah, remember when you brought up steel mill? You brought that up. Now, I'm
What is
asking
steel mill?
a steel, like you said, steel worker, remember? You don't remember that?
A steel worker? I
Y-
don't know what a steel worker is. I can't translate
Okay,
it. I'm
I'm pretty
sorry.
sure am I wrong that she brought that up earlier? Am I
You brought
making
it
that
up.
up?
Well, maybe I'm pretty sure I did not brought that up because
Yes,
I'm
because
not
we
quite sure
had a
what it
whole
is. My
conversation and
English is not good.
okay, so maybe not, but either way, it's a good example. And the reason why is
Yeah, sure.
because steel mill workers. I was gonna ask you what percentage of steel mill workers are women. What do you think? Because we can just look it up and verify it right now.
Yes,
It does not
there is way
matter
less
though.
women
But what
in
percentage
jobs
do
like
you
that
think?
that are more dangerous,
What
and
percentage do
there's
you
more
think?
women in. I don't know, and it's not really relevant.
Why?
Well, it's very
Yeah,
relevant.
why? I don't see.
No, it's okay. Sure, it's less, but I do understand that is biology. That there is way more man that will be attracted to things that are more physical and more dangerous because that's how they work, and
But
women
also, it's
will be way more attracted to sports, just to jobs like teaching or nursing because that's way more. You have to be compassionate. You have to take care of people. That is biology.
yeah,
Sure.
and
I
also
agree.
you brought up nurses. I mean, women make more in money being a nurse than men because there's more women in that field and they tend to get paid more. I don't think you can justify being like, oh, I gotta dumb it down to 40 hours. Oh, and women makes one more dollar than the
No,
men. Like, no,
I'm
that
just
doesn't make
talking
sense.
about how the median income works, so how we calculate the median income to compare some things. I was not saying that we should just count it like that. I'm just saying that that's how some
I get what you're trying
association
to
will count
say.
it.
I get what you're trying to say, but this is the thing.
Okay.
So when I just looked it up. 6 to 7% of women are steel workers, and the rest are men. And the point I bring that up is the jobs that keep us alive, the jobs that keep our society going, are all that same way. And what happens is women will say, "Wait,
Nurses keep
hold
you
on.
alive, babe.
That's one
You
thing."
you
No,
take vaccines
you
every
can name
year.
a
The
hundred
nurses
jobs,
give you the vaccine.
whether it be steel workers, whether it be truck drivers, whether it be garbage disposal, whether it be water purification, whether it be nuclear, all these other jobs. You named one, and I can name you 100, and 100 will be men.
So what? It's because in thousands of years we just gave the recognition to man. Obviously now they have more place in the world.
That's not true either.
Obviously. That's how it works.
That's not
But what I'm
true.
telling you is that okay, can
Go ahead, go ahead. I'll let you finish,
what
but
do
I
you
just
want
want
to
to
talk?
be able to respond because I don't want you to filibuster forever. I want you to be able to let me respond.
Okay. What I'm telling you is that we need men and women in every field. That yes, sure, we need more men in some things because they're stronger and they're taller, but we need women in the same field because we can they can Jesus, I'm stuttering, I'm sorry. They can think faster and they can think differently than men because we're made differently. And I think we need different point of view in the same um field, sorry. I think that
Okay.
we need both men and women, maybe not at the same rate because
And
of
I would
biology,
disagree
but
with
we
you
do
there. And I
need.
know a lot of people would disagree with me, but I'm going to say there's plenty fields that we don't need women in at all. We do not
And there's plenty
need.
fields that we need women more than men.
Yes, like for instance, when it comes to um like nurturing children, especially those like age 5 and below, I don't want men changing diapers of little
Hu-
kids. I don't trust
Human
them.
resources.
Why?
Yeah.
Right.
Why do you think a man cannot change a
Because I
kid's
think
diaper?
that God made women to be nurturers and he perfectly suited them and even
I
their
okay,
mind.
why
Wait, hold
what
on,
does
because
it
you asked
do?
me a question. Do you
What
want me
what
to
does it
answer
do
it?
if a man what
Well,
does
can
it
I
do?
answer the
Answer my
question,
question.
please?
What does
You
it
asked
do?
me a question. Can I answer it? The reason why is I
What
believe
does
that
it do if a
okay, you
man
don't want me to
changes a
answer it.
diaper?
Okay, so this is what I think. I think that women are more suited for that. That doesn't mean a man can't do it. Obviously, I have children. I mean, you don't know me, but yes, men can do it if they have to, but I believe women are more suited and they're better suited for that because that's how God created them. I think that men are far more suited to protect, provide, and go out and do hard manual labor. I don't even think that a lot of women's bodies can handle some of the work that I've done. Like I've never seen there's a field I've been in called masonry where all we do is to take bricks to roofs and build like I'm telling you, there was not one woman I seen in all of that, in all of my time doing that, because they can't physically do it. And
Yes, but you're
it's
talking about
necessary.
biology. I'm not talking about biology here.
Uh-huh. What are you saying then? You're saying that men and women, you said that women should be in every field, and I say absolutely not. I think they shouldn't.
Yeah, I'm telling you that we need just different point of views. I'm telling you that yes, there will be fields that will be more men oriented. Oriented, is that how we say it?
Oriented, yeah, you're correct.
Oriented?
Yeah, or I get what you're saying. I
Okay.
get that.
It just all depends
Okay.
on the field.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
there will be more men in those fields because they need more strong people, and there will be more women in fields that um that need compassionate
Nurturing.
or ways of thinking. But
Well,
Why do you think that is
go
though?
ahead.
Why do you think
that
that?
I think that people can make the choose of whatever they want to do, and I think there's men who are really good teachers and can be really good um uh, keep house husband. Can a house husband give me that?
Oh no,
I'm
I
pretty
don't
sure
like
there
that.
can be. My father raised me. And I turned out perfect, so I
I'm
think it's
not
okay.
saying it doesn't.
Okay,
You
cool.
can't. You always find an exception
Okay.
to the rule. But when you're looking at
Yeah,
what
but I
men
I
do
think
and
that we
what
should give
sound
the
like you don't
choice
want
to
me to
those
talk.
people.
That's
They
fine.
already have the choice, but they just revert back to biology.
Yes, but I think that we should still give the opportunities to everyone.
I don't think
They
so. I don't
already
think
have the opportunity.
opportunities. I don't think
No, not everyone
opportunities.
has the opportunities.
Yeah, I don't think
They
opportunities are
do.
given. They're earned. And so what men
Yeah, there are.
understand is women always use the argument where we weren't given the opportunity all these years and we just now got it. That's because they have a wrong perception of opportunity. Opportunity is always earned. When you come into a field, especially in construction or a male dominated field, they're not going to let you have a turn. They're going to be like, you have to earn
No,
your
it
spot.
goes with merit, and I think that some women actually have the merit to be in those fields and they're not being given it.
Sure, but they
If they
choose
could
not
earn it, then
to.
they would get it.
No.
They choose not to, though. They can do it. They can try to do it, but they choose not to.
Yeah,
And
they
if you
can
want to
try to
break
do
down
it,
the
but they don't have
construction,
the opportunity. It is so hard to go into it.
they
It's so difficult. The men are accepted like that. It's so easy. It's just like
well,
that.
yeah, because they
But
tend to do it better because that's in what's
Exactly.
within their skill set.
okay, but there's men who are absolutely horrible at mechanics. There's some men that are horrible, but they're being accepted socially
That's not
way
true. Can you
easier
prove
than
that?
some women are.
That's not true. I've worked in these fields,
There is some
man.
men who is absolutely horrible at being a mechanic.
You're saying that
Sure, but that doesn't
you're
mean they're better at it. I mean,
are
men
you
are better at
Yeah,
it.
but
they're
is he
not.
honestly
There's some women
arguing
who
that
are better than some men at being a mechanic.
are you
Absolutely.
honestly arguing that those men are getting it over women who deserve it?
Yes, there absolutely is.
See, and you got to prove that. Where have you seen that? I would love to hear this story.
Sure, I'm pretty sure I can find thousands of stories, man. I'm pretty sure, and it goes with men and women. I think that's really sad that there's a lot of places where there used to be just men, and now women can get into it. And there used to be just women, and now
I
men have a hard time
this is part
getting
of the
into it.
reason though.
And I
It
think
kind of
everyone should have it. Everyone should.
it kind of proves the point though, because what happens is when you put women in men's spaces, they begin to cry and do things that are like absolutely anti-work. And what I mean by that is they'll get in there and they say, I need a chance to do this, and if I don't get it, it's not fair. And all the rest of the men are working hard to earn their keep, like they're
But
earning their spot.
there's thousands of women who are working hard to
I
earn it.
disagree. I disagree.
Okay, so you think there's no woman who works hard to earn what
I
they
do
have?
not believe, and here's why what I know. There were several grants when I worked at Steel Mill. I worked several like masculine jobs. there were several grants and opportunities given to women that were never given to me, even as a black man, that were given to women because they were women, and women still would not take the opportunity. And when the women would try to get in, they got so much help from everybody because they just wanted to see a woman succeed. So I have never seen this
Good. They
women
should
just
see
being
women succeed.
pushed out of
My
stuff.
question is, you didn't answer my question though. My
Go ahead.
question was, do you actually think that there's no women who work hard for what they earned?
I will
I'm
not
sure.
say an
Yo,
all
bro.
statement. I won't say an all statement that there's no women who ever work hard. But what I'm saying is
Yo, dog.
overall.
Yo, dog. Don't let her spike her cortisol, bro. Don't let her spike her cortisol.
Hey man, I'm man maxing over here. That sounds kind of gay, but
You're cortisol maxing. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
but this is what I will
Of course,
say. I'm not. No, she not stressing me out. We just discussing. But what I will say is
Gotcha.
that I have seen, man, that women will come into a space and they want it to contort to them. So they start to say, I deserve to be the leader instead of I earned my spot. And men are like, dude,
Okay,
we've been
so
working here
just
hard.
because you've seen that, now it's everyone. So because you've seen that, I can tell you that I've seen a lot of men just sitting on their ass and saying, "Oh yeah, I've earned all I have." Okay, I know a lot of people
Sure,
who
but
are
that
like
doesn't
that. Does that
change
mean
the
I say
fact that
all
within
men do
that
that?
field,
Absolutely not. I think everyone works hard in their life.
I think
Okay,
there's
I
lazy
think
men and
everyone
lazy
struggles.
women, but when you have
it,
a woman that comes into a male dominated sphere, she's gonna have to prove herself. That's true. But what the problem is like it's like they
I think
want
she just
things.
has to prove herself like a man has to prove himself.
Biology to
She should
change.
work more hard than a man to get
No,
into that
you're
field.
gonna.
She should just
Let me
be
explain
able
something
to
to
go
you
into
though.
that field.
You're gonna have to work harder because your physiology won't allow you to be a man. So if you're gonna carry bricks up a ladder, which I
But you don't
did,
have to
hold
be a
on, hold on.
man
If
to work
you're
and
gonna
still
have to
work.
carry bricks and cinder blocks up a ladder, that by definition you're going to be working harder than I am because I can carry more than you. So if crying about it is not going to get you
Yeah,
any
but
further.
socially, I'm not talking biologically. Why do all you think about is physically? Is all you care
Because that's
about
what the
your
job
body? Is that
requires.
really what you care about?
That's
Is
what
that
the
all you
job
care about, your
requires. If
body?
you don't complete the
Because what
job,
I'm
then you shouldn't
talking
get
about is
paid.
socially. What I'm
I mean,
talking about is that socially it's more unacceptable for women to go into those fields than a man to go into a women's field. There are way more people that will be against that. And it's
it's not.
way harder socially. I'm not talking physically. I'm talking socially.
Okay, you want to talk socially? Socially, let's, for example, HR. I've seen so many women, that interview for HR versus men.
Yes.
But the men, they have better requirements than women, but women tend to be better socially, so they hire the woman because they have better organization skills
And they be
communication skills.
gatekeeping that job.
Yeah, and they're there for a long time, so it just varies on which freaking yeah, right. It varies on just case by case on what kind of field you're gonna be in. So it's kind of hard to be like
Babysitter.
you can't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, freaking a man is freaking applying for a
Right.
babysitting job, and a woman's yeah, they're gonna choose the women. Doesn't matter because they tend to be better at it because of not only the socially, like you just said, socially. They're
Yeah,
socially.
Or a
but
nanny.
I think the man should have the same opportunities as women.
Women
they-
want the opportunities without the hard work. That's my problem with the feminists.
That is not true.
Yes, it is, because
You
what they
keep
want to
putting
do
you keep
is
putting women
they'll
down.
come into a field, even like I could give
You
you
keep
so
saying
many
that women
examples.
don't work when
I
all
didn't
we
say
did
don't
was
work.
work.
I'm saying they
Men,
won't. There's
men,
no
hey,
possible way they
let
can
me
do
talk.
the job that men
Let me
do.
talk.
Well, you just
When
interrupted me while I was
I'm
talking, so
telling you
let
that
me
men
talk. Let me
always
talk.
had it in their hands. Man grew up, okay? Man at the first, like, when we started having democracy, they had a right to vote, okay? They had the right to go in politics. They had the right to own a house. They had
Not
the right
all
to do
men.
everything, and
Nope.
women had to
Black men
fight for
got
it.
the vote
Women,
right before women
I'm
did, so we did
talking
not have
about
the
gender right
rights.
now. I'm not talking about
But what
about
you said
color of
is not
skin or where
true.
you're from. I'm talking about gender.
But you just
I'm
said
telling you that
men. It
men
wasn't
always
all
had it in
men.
their hand.
It wasn't all
What does
men
that-
who got that right. So you're just making a
Yes,
statement that's
okay.
not true.
Okay, so you're gonna tell me that men had to fight together the right to vote.
Yes, me as a black man, I can tell you, yes, I did not get the right to vote in this country.
Can
No.
we stay on gender, or are we gonna talk about
Well, I mean, if
color?
you're gonna say
'Cause
stuff that's
I'm a
true, you
person
got to say
of
stuff
color
that's
too.
true. I'm gonna challenge you if you say
Okay,
something
but
that
we
ain't
don't.
true.
We're not talking at all about color of skin right now.
But you said a statement that
Oh,
was
because
not
I can
true.
tell you there's still racism in the Constitution right now, In my constitution, in my country, there's still racism against my
I
race.
mean, Canada's kind of full. Well, we ain't gonna talk about Canada, but anyways, what I was saying is
Uh,
that no,
Oh, good. We're not talking about Canada because we don't care about it because it's not the United States.
well,
That's
no,
not the
it's not.
point.
It's because I don't like Trudeau that much, but we'll get into
Yeah,
that
what
later.
he brought was not the point
sucks.
either.
Yo, I was born
No,
in
I'm not talking.
Canada. The country is dog shit. I'm gonna be real.
See, he
I
said
do
it, so I
agree.
don't have to. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, what I'm
I
saying
like
is
that
like
guy. What's
men
that
are
guy's
not.
name?
Hell yeah. But we're just what we're saying is that men are not complaining about certain job fields that oh man we can't get into because women are better.
Oh, absolutely, man. On.
No, we aren't.
No, we're not. I'm not
We
complaining.
are.
That
Yes.
I didn't.
It's
I
not about
applied
you
for
though.
the
It's not
same.
about you.
Well, I mean,
Not everything is about you. You told me
Yeah,
the same
but
thing. It's not because I went through something and like it's not because you went through something that it's the same for everyone. I can tell you that there's a lot of men that are complaining
but the
because they have a
difference
hard time getting into some jobs.
but the difference is what I've been through. It's pretty much like a lot of people can relate to it. Majority they can, right?
So what? There's a lot of women who can relate to what I've been through.
Sure, but that doesn't change the fact that it still exists. There's there's job fields that women tend to do better, and men try to get those jobs, and they can't get it because women have the upper hand, and vice versa.
Like runway
Yes, and I find that
models.
everyone should have the same opportunity. I'm not just
They
saying that
do.
women don't have the opportunity. I'm
I
saying that
don't.
everyone should have the same opportunity in life.
I don't like the idea that everybody should have the same opportunity. That's not true either. Why should somebody
Why?
use?
It's not.
Why should
That's not
somebody?
true, bro.
Because life is not fair, and I've
Yeah,
learned to
life ain't
accept
fair,
that.
dog.
Because you got to remember, it's some people that are born tall, some people that are born skinny, some people that are born bigger.
Well,
You know,
yes, but that has
that's
nothing to do with it.
yes,
I'm
it
telling you
does
that
because
if a
what
woman
happens?
is
Wait,
6'5",
wait. What happens with it, like a more liberal ideology, is people try to push that everybody should have the same
I'm not
opportunities.
liberal.
I'm not saying you are. I'm saying with a liberal ideology that's pervasive in our society, is people really try to push this idea that everybody should have the same opportunities. I don't agree. I'm not going to be a basketball player because I'm 5'10". So I shouldn't have the same opportunities. It's just the way it is.
What I'm telling you is that if a woman is 6'5", should have the same opportunities to be able to. Well, we're not going to talk about sports because it creates problems.
Because
But I'm
women's
telling you that
basketball is going to be a sore spot for you too. I'm not going to lie.
yes, because women are naturally less good. Okay, we all know it. Now, what I'm
Less
telling you is that
entertaining
if
to
a woman
watch.
okay, what I'm telling you is that if a woman actually is really good at doing at being a mechanic and want to work on cars, then she should absolutely have the opportunity to be a mechanic. But it's really hard, um, socially to get into that field.
Who do you think is taking that opportunity away from her?
Man,
And how are they doing that? Please.
Huh?
it's just because there's more people and it's more acceptable because we are taught as kids that man should be strong and should like cars and trains
Wait,
or whatever, and
wait a
women should
second.
stay at home
Ours
and
and
have
trains.
kids.
What?
So you saying men as a whole, right? Generally are taking that opportunity away from women?
No, I'm not saying that it's everyone. I'm just saying that socially, the society is taking it away from them.
Okay, so
Yes.
socially and society is made up of people. What group of people are taking that
Yes.
opportunity away from women as a whole?
I do agree that there is women who don't help at all. There is
But
women
I
who
kind
goes
of want you to
around and
stick on
tell
this though,
man that they
because
should be
you're running
that way and
away.
that women should be that way, and I find it really sad.
Yeah, but I'm
Women took
asking you a question. What
took away the
group of
opportunity
men
for
are
me being
taking that?
HR.
My fault. Go ahead, man.
No, I mean I can say the same thing. Oh, the women are taking my opportunity for becoming an HR representative. Like I look stupid. Like what? No, that's
And
not
I'm
true.
really sad for you. I would hope that you would have the exact same opportunity. Do you think
I
y'all
did.
actually think that I'm just talking about women when I'm not?
I think
I'm
you
not
kind
saying
of
that.
are.
You are,
But that's what
we never
feminism
implied
does, is it doesn't allow people to actually see the privilege they have. Because they live in a world where
Oh,
men
no,
are
but you
providing them
think
with
that it's just about
everything.
putting women. It's not about putting women over man at all.
Like I don't think women even understand the fact of they with, especially with the feminism that's so pervasive now, how demonized they make men out to be, and how benevolent
No, it's
most
not
men actually
feminism.
are.
Feminism doesn't
Because what
demonize
happens
man.
is we live in a
Feminism
society.
doesn't.
Hold on. We live in a
Feminism is not about
society.
putting
We
women
live
over
in a
man.
society where men are for the most part, we protect women, we provide for women, and we get nothing in
But you don't
return.
have to do that. Why do you think you
Well,
have to do that? I don't
because
need to
and
be
I
saved.
okay, I'm glad you asked that question. I'll answer it for you. Because men have an innate sense that's given to them by God to do those things. We have a duty, and
Okay, we're not talking about God. We're not going to talk
I
about religion.
am.
It
I
has
can
nothing
talk
to do
about
with
whatever I
religion.
want. Wait a second. Hold
Oh.
on. You interrupted me when I was giving my point of view, and I
Well, I
will
can
talk
block you
about.
as much as I want, by the way.
Well, I don't care. But here's the thing. Then I can interrupt you,
Okay,
and watch.
well, you don't
You'll be
care.
the one crying because just like before. Oh, great. She kicked me out. She kicked me out because I was whooping that butt. She kicked me out of the debate because I was kicking that butt. And this is what feminists do. They can't compete, so they kick you out. Did y'all see that? She kicked me out the conversation because I was kicking that butt. And you know what? I'm not even mad about that because this is what happens when you have a discussion and they get in their feelings. This is exactly what happened because she said, "Oh well," she said, "Well, I can interrupt you." I said, "Well, then I can interrupt you back," and she got butthurt. She got butthurt. These women, dude. Now I gotta find a whole nother conversation. Let me see. I'm gonna find something even better. Watch.
You would say I'm God, but if you believe in God, you would choose a religion most likely. And if I were to choose, I would choose my religion for sure. Everyone thinks his religion is right. It's normal to think everyone's idea is right at the end of the day.
الدنيا عندنا فيه خير للمرموس من الجوال.
So which religion is that you think is right?
Oh, me? I'm Muslim, so I'd say Islam.
Oh, dang, I can't join that.
So if Muslim is right, then wouldn't it be better if everybody believed in Muslim?
Yeah, that's true. But I know that it's not realistic to believe in that. It will not happen.
Well, if you think it's the truth, wouldn't the truth be the most beneficial for everybody?
Yes, it is. Yes, sure. But as I said, it being the most beneficial does not mean it's the most accepted or something. It will be accepted by everybody. Some will not accept, some would accept. Whatever.
Are you a Muslim?
Yeah, I told you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wasn't here. I didn't hear you earlier.
Ah, okay, you're not the guy. Okay.
So if you I don't know, why do you say it's justified that everybody believes in their own thing if you think Muslim is the
No.
truth?
Yeah, I say Islam is truth. And if you were to believe in another religion, you would say, no, Christianity is truth, or maybe atheism is truth. You're believing your point. Like, it's normal.
What he's asking is, wouldn't it be best if everyone believed in the Quran if you're a Muslim and that's what you believe is right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and so you believe the Quran is the perfect book, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Do you believe that Muhammad was a good prophet and we should live as he lived?
Yes, sure.
Do you believe that we should be able to marry a 6-year-old?
Yes, sure.
You do?
Well, we can take the divergence here to another. No. Can I marry a 6-year-old?
Yes.
No, you don't marry a 6-year-old. He did not marry a 6-year-old. Let's make a statement here. He did not marry a 6-year-old. He married how do I say it? Like a woman that had her first period. Yes. He
Aisha was not 6 when he married her and 9 when he consecrated the marriage?
Yeah, that was like an oath of marriage, like I'm going to marry. Yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
so
normal in the that was a traditional thing for art. Yeah, and for
okay,
many.
because I could have sworn in the Hadith it says that Muhammad, he married her when he was 6 and consecrated the marriage when she was 9.
No, yeah, yes, it was an oath of marriage. Like I'm going to marry. Like I go to another's one house. I go. I
Okay.
want to marry your son or so.
And
Whatever.
that's something I'm just trying to get it clear because I'm just trying to understand your point of
Yeah,
view
yeah,
here.
sure. I'm not being anything about
Right?
it.
No, no,
I'm
no.
being,
I'm not
I'm
mad.
being-
I'm glad you're being honest. So like you would want that type of like Sharia law and things to happen like that everywhere.
Well, you're asking now that can I marry a 9 years old, or 6 years old or whatever, a girl that had her period like that. The answer is it normal? Yes, but is it normal in our times? I would say no, for a multitude of reasons. Not really for laws, but a multitude of reasons.
But I'm
It's
asking, is
really a
that the
different.
right? You think people should be allowed to live like that?
Yes, yes.
I think there's a difference between being allowed to do it and if you should do it or not.
Well, in this topic, for example,
I think both of
I
them
would.
are scary. Wouldn't
No,
you
no,
agree?
no. Let me just explain what I mean. Like in this topic specifically, like in the olden times, the maturity was really early for even women or male, for women or men. But now you have some 20 years old who are not even like. I would say you're not allowed to marry, like because they are very immature. Like maturity was very early perceived
I just want to
due
be
to
sure
multiple
you're
reasons.
standing by that. You saying maturity
Yes,
was
that's
as
what I'm saying.
early as 9?
Maturity? Yes, it
Yeah.
was.
You
And it
you
was
believe?
shown.
Okay.
It was shown by Aisha, actually. It was shown by Aisha. She stopped a war at 16 or 15. She stopped a war.
Yeah.
Only admit, like I can show you, but for now, for our times, I would say some women cannot be married like even at 25 because they are not mature. It's a difference of times, really. But
Well, you
because
see,
well,
that's where because I'm a Christian, and that's where I
yeah.
would kind of disagree with you when you talk about what's a prescription for all of society. I would say that's a big indicator as to why I would not think Islam was correct. When you have the leader that says it's okay for you to marry a 6-year-old and consecrate the marriage at 9. We don't agree. Our society doesn't agree with that.
Well, to be fair, that if you read your books, I think you have something similar.
Well, can you tell me where?
I'm not saying it exists, but I believe something similar is there. I'm not saying I'm a specialist in anything. I'm not saying anything. But if I remember right, it can be. I'm not making this as a point.
I mean, I've been studying the Bible for about 30 or more years now. Can you if you can just give me the passage where it says you can marry a 9-year-old or a 6-year-old, I would love to hear it.
I really don't think I can tell you that. But as I said, I'm not really making that a point.
Okay. Now,
Like I told you, like
the other thing about like the Quran is I have so many questions, and
sure.
I love.
I may not be the best. I may not be the best one to answer these, to be fair.
Well, I mean, you still believe it, right?
Yeah.
Because
my answer may not be the best.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you even like answering the questions because a lot of people don't really stand by what they believe, and it sounds like at least you stand by it for whatever that's worth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
But I would say, as in Islam, they have they have several passages that pretty much encourage treating the infidel in a certain way. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Do you believe that the non-believer should be forced to turn to Islam?
Should be forced.
Yeah,
No,
forced.
There's no forcing.
Is no forcing?
No. To turn to Islam, no.
I mean, is that something you wanna? Because if you look at what the Quran actually says, it says in the Quran 5:51, do not take Jews and Christians as allies, as they are allies of one another. And then it says, let not disbelievers take disbelievers as allies rather than believers. And then it says, strive against the disbelievers, for their abode is in hell. Like, can you explain those verses?
تدروني بالعربية ما أقدر.
Repeat the last verse.
In 9:29, it says, fight those who do not believe until they pay you pronounce this jizya, the tax,
Yeah.
willingly while being subdued. It says, fight those who don't believe.
That's from Surah Tawbah. If I give you like something, Surah Tawbah was actually revealed in a state of war with the disbelievers, and many of its verses are about disbelievers and what can I say? كيف يقولوا منافق? I don't know. Hypocrite, yeah.
Okay.
Actually, it was a surah mostly about these. Not all disbelievers actually, because I will give you some verses in which, if you were to read them without a historical knowing of when they were revealed, they would say kill all disbelievers, which is not right.
Right.
Because you have some verses telling you do no harm, and you have no issues dealing with non-disbelievers who are good to you.
Wouldn't you say? Because I saw a video. I've seen several videos of people who actually believe that verse is current right now, and they're doing violent acts to Christians, and they're burning churches, and this is happening all over Africa.
No, in Islam you are not allowed to burn churches. That's strictly.
Are you allowed to behead somebody on a beach?
No,
you're not.
That's strictly forbidden. No.
So the people that are doing that, the Christians, they're not following Islam.
So, as I told you, in Quran, if you read the Quran, there is a verse telling you that you do no harm. You are not allowed to do any harm to those who do you no harm from disbelievers.
Can you tell me where that verse is? I want to look it up.
Yeah, sure. I'm giving it the verse. Wait a second.
So Bravo.
Yep. What's up?
The Bible.
So
what
868. 68.
Okay, here I'm gonna, because I can just look it up and see too, because I don't want to be quoting what it says if it doesn't say that, you know. You said 868, the Quran 868.
No, 68.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
60 verse 8.
Okay, Quran 60 verse 8.
Yeah.
Somebody was gonna ask me something. I forgot. I didn't. Quran says here, Allah forbids believers from acting righteously and justly towards non-Muslims who have not fought them over religion and expelled them from their homes. All right. So we see that there are some verses of kindness, and then you got to contrast that with the verses like, 973 or 66:9 that say strive against the unbelievers and hypocrites and be harsh with them. Or 47 verse 4 that says, when you meet the unbelievers, strike their necks.
As I told you, that's the verse I told you. You can't read it without a historical knowing, because that verse was revealed also in a state of war. Like, because there were many instances of that happening. Like, they were in a state of war with the disbelievers for Quraysh, and they were always attacking them. So they had to attack back. You can't just stay still.
Well,
when you attack back, you can do self-defense. You don't have to strike their necks.
No, it's like no. I would give the example. Like, imagine you are in borders, two nations in war. Like, it's normal to have a law that says if that person from the other country comes to my country in the borders, I shoot him. Is that normal?
You talk about like
Uh-huh.
if somebody just came in, broke in your
Yeah, in
country.
a state of war. I'm telling you, in a state of war.
But what dictates whether you're in a state of war or not?
Well, the wars dictate.
So
There
like
was
can
there was
can a
wars,
person who believes in the
and the
Quran
Muslims
just
and the Muslims of Mecca and the Muslims of Mecca were all. I would not say they all left. They all left, and the disbelievers in Mecca, they just declared war on Muslims. They said do not trade with them, do not marry them, do not and exclude them on anything. And the same
Okay.
and so for historical fact, yeah, most of these ayahs you're citing about killing disbelievers are for the ones in a state of war. As I told you, the
But how
older
do they
verse I
I
gave
guess
you.
but can't anybody declare a state of war at any point?
No, it was not declared as a state of war. It was actually, I have a way to give you the historical fact. A war was declared first by Muslims. The first war was declared by Muslims, but before that there was expulsion and indiscrimination and verily acts of violence against Muslims by the disbelievers before that.
Okay, let me ask you this then, because maybe this will lead me into more clarity here. How
Sure.
can a Muslim know with 100% certainty that he's going to heaven?
Well,
How can a
would give you
Muslim
this.
know with 100% certainty that he's going to be in paradise afterlife?
Well, let's be clear. I believe we both believe in a God, so we can pass that.
Okay.
And do you actually believe that a God has sent a message and has a heaven and hell?
Do I
Just to
believe
be
that according to my beliefs?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I'm just saying. So I don't need to prove that or deal with that. Just we state it
Well-
directly.
not in the same way that the Quran says.
Yeah. Just do you believe in like judgment and actions and
Absolutely, yes.
consequences?
Yep, judgment from God,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So a Muslim would be 100% sure if we were to accept Islam, which is trivially. But to accept Islam, you need to accept this stuff and stuff. Accepting that a message was sent implies that a religion is there.
Okay.
Alright?
Yeah.
And then you would most likely, if you were to be looking into religions, you'd most likely choose. You most likely end up with some choices as Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and stuff. Well,
boy.
what was I going to say? How do I present this? Yeah.
Islam is fundamentally un-Western. I'm sorry.
It is,
What?
but I want to hear what his point of view is here, because I want to know how you can know with absolute certainty according to Islam.
It's the same principle for Christians. How are
No, it's absolutely
you?
not. Absolutely not.
How are you just like saying I'm going to heaven?
Okay, you
You
want me
say
to
it or not?
explain what Christians believe?
Because we Muslims do not believe actually that we are going to heaven directly. No.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a very drastic difference between Christianity and Islam, and you saying it's the same. I don't think so at all.
No. Actually, it's actually not just saying I believe, and you just go to heaven. It's
Okay.
actually. Let me give you this. It's a hadith, but I would give you the meaning. Like in the meaning like of the hadith, like for all your worth and all your deeds, you're not really deserved of heaven. But it's only the mercy of Allah that lets you go to heaven. It's
So
actually
you
not.
so basically,
Yeah.
are you saying that you don't have an absolute certainty?
For a Muslim to say I go to heaven, there's no absolute certainty. No, you cannot
Okay.
be certain.
That's-
you
Well,
go to heaven.
it's
that's
funny
kinda-
that they
go ahead.
steal that from Christianity, but then they leave out the grace of Christ.
Yeah, because the Bible talks when talking about the grace of Jesus Christ, Ephesians 2:8-9 says, "For by grace are you saved. You're saved not of yourself; it is the gift of God." And then if you're talking about in Romans 3:23, it talks about the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life. And the reason why you can be saved, if you go all the way through Romans 3 through Romans chapter 10, it is only by believing in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, which I know Muslims do not believe in the resurrection the way that the Christians do. So we absolutely do not see the salvation the same way you guys do. And one of the reasons why I'm asking you this question is because to me, that would be very depressing if I could do all these works and pray a certain number of times a day and do all these things and still have no certainty if I'm saved or not.
No, that's the thing.
خطر انتحار الدنيا.
It's not really like you cannot be certain about this stuff because, as I told you, the hadith tell you even all of these deeds are not worthy of the heaven.
Well,
if,
this is the thing of Christianity too, though. Is it through faith alone? Is it faith with works? Is it?
yes,
I mean-
faith. It's mostly
but
faith. It's just faith. It's really the faithful who go to heaven.
Well,
You can
then,
be-
but you
well,
said it wasn't
faith
absolute.
implies a lot of stuff. Faith implies a lot of stuff. Faith implies you pray and stuff like that. Because if you don't pray, your faith is actually lacking. I'm not saying it does not exist, but lacking. But faith implies a lot of stuff. But these stuff are not the things that get you to heaven. It's actually faith.
So if you have faith in the Quran and in the teachings of Allah, will you absolutely with 100% certainty go to heaven?
A true faith, yeah, but you cannot really distinct true faith.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
I'm telling you, like, absolute faith. But
all right.
if I
When he,
ask myself, am I-
Hold up. I can translate this. When Anas talks about like true faith, and when you ask Jack Bravo
Yeah.
about true faith, or what he's talking about, so to speak, when it translates as maybe true faith to him, he's maybe more as thinking like the Prophet Muhammad himself.
Okay.
But the idea of being a perfect Muslim, or in our Western sense, you would call that person a sage to some degree, but Muslims reject philosophy, so I can't exactly use that term. But
actually,
either way,
just to make a point here.
or imam or etc. That's another modern term.
Yeah, you're correct.
Either way, their idea of it is rather than being Christians might see ourselves as maybe servants to God or vessels of God or beings created by God, vessels created by God. However, regardless, Muslims think of it, I would like to think, in a slightly more worldly manner, as in almost literally in the ancient Roman sense of the idea of slavery, not like what you'd think of as slavery, like of African Americans, but the idea of you are a subservient class itself to God, and the highest amongst them
Right,
are those
and I
that
understand
realize
that.
themselves within that class, so to
I actually
speak.
think your assessment is correct, and part of the reason
Yeah.
why I challenged him on that is because as a Christian, one of the things that leads a lot of Muslims to Christ is the understanding that there is a true God of mercy and a true God that understands that you can do nothing to reach him. There's nothing you can actually do. You can pray, you can do all these different things, and your righteousness is as filthy rags to God. And a lot of Muslims, they stress themselves out because they do all these things and they realize at the end of their
We
life,
are all sinners.
yes, that we're all
That's
sinners.
a simple thing.
Yep. But
Hey,
Muslims
Jack
stress
Bravo.
But not
Go
so
ahead.
simple.
Go ahead.
Bravo, can I ask you a few questions?
Yeah,
So first
absolutely.
question, would you say that conditional or unconditional love is like the more powerful?
I don't know if I would necessarily believe in unconditional love in the way that's used in America. Because I believe love
Okay.
is an action. It's not, this feeling that's unconditional. I don't even
Jack
believe God's
Bravo?
love is.
Jack Bravo.
Go ahead.
Do not let the world harden your heart.
What do you mean by that?
That
Okay, so is there anyone in your life
there
that
is
loves you
hope
unconditionally,
even
would you say?
within the hopeless. That there's beauty within destruction and chaos.
I think I hear what you're trying to say, but if you're trying to,
Thus is the modern world. Thus is women.
but if you're talking about, about unconditional love,
Yeah.
and you asking me, do I believe in unconditional love?
No, I'm asking you if you had to choose, like one is like more powerful than the
I
It's
other.
would
Do you say
say
that it's
unconditional.
conditional?
factually, at least from my
Yes,
own
it's
sense,
absolutely would
Okay.
be
unconditional love
unconditional.
is
And
yes more
what you, I think
powerful,
what you're
so to
getting
speak.
at too is like there's a God, there's the God of the
Well,
Quran that has conditional love.
no, that's not where I was going. Where I
He,
was
Yeah.
going with
he's not
my
that
next
ethical,
question was going to be: is there anyone
per
in your
se.
life that loves you unconditionally? Would you say like your mom or your dad or
Is this
whatever?
turning into an ad hominem? Because I will intellectually.
I can't. I don't know if they do or not. And the reason I'm trying to give you the most honest answer because I haven't done everything evil that I could have done to them. So
I
until
guess that I'll just kind of wrap up. The point I was about to make is, let's say you said that your mom loved you unconditionally. I'm sure a lot of
okay.
people might say that example. My question to you would then be, because you even admitted earlier briefly that you said God, maybe even God's love is not unconditional.
Correct.
So the question then becomes, wouldn't that mean your mom's love is more powerful than the love of God?
If I would have answered that my mom's love is unconditional, then you might have a point, but I didn't say that.
Okay. But you could see how like a lot of Christians like would say like my dad or my mom loves me
Some would,
unconditionally.
but I think that's why I don't like the term unconditional love, because we don't necessarily know the conditions.
Well, and then that's the thing, is like we think we know them with God.
The only thing that I can tell you about God's love is God, it cannot lie. So we can hold God to his promises, and that was done several times in the Old Testament, where you can say, God, you promised this. And since he cannot lie, you can hold him to account.
I guess.
So, with the Quran, one of the biggest problems that I have with it
Sorry,
is
how do you hold him to account?
how do you hold God to account?
Yeah.
Based on what he said. Because God will never lie. And even in James, it talks about, well, we can go through a whole Bible study if you want, but God cannot lie. There's things that God cannot do.
Sorry.
And so you can
What
hold
what
him
do you mean
based.
by holding someone to account?
What
I
I
think the
mean
point
by
he's
that, maybe
trying
that's
to
not
mean
the
is there,
phrase that I want to use, is basically this. You can know God's character and his personality based on what he said because he cannot lie.
I think the point he was trying to make is, what is there to hold to account if he never makes a mistake?
I think hold to account may be a phrase that's tripping you guys up. What I'm saying is that you can know God's character and his personality based on the fact that he cannot lie. So when he says in his word something, you know it to be true.
Okay, yeah.
We lost the Muslim guy.
Oh no, he left.
Yeah, you guys were.
I wasn't being
What's up,
mean.
guys?
I wasn't being that mean.
You were approaching it from a stance of that you're right and he's wrong. But I get that that's what most debates are on the server.
Yeah. Oh man, it's no fun if he's not here.
Mm-hmm. Hi, ACH.
I'm
What's
more
up, guys?
focused on what's probably right and what's probably wrong.
What's the topic here?
I usually start off by asking people what they think the biggest divide between people is for you in the world.
Dang, that's a hard question. I didn't know if y'all was asking me or were you asking the other guy?
Take your time, but if you have an answer.
I would say on average it would be the set of things that people contemplate the most, because I've seen some research that shows that basically on average, like the more you like ruminate on something, the more your opinion either drifts to one side or the other, as opposed to staying in the middle. So I guess the things that we ruminate on the most, which would be, like religion, politics, economics, those are the things people.
Boring. Ramadan is unhealthy, known as boring. Prove theism or atheism? Nah. All right, let's see. Loneliness epidemic.
Yep.
Oh. Well, I wouldn't
I
want
like
to
it
be
though.
with a mentally ill person because they might kill me.
Yeah, okay, but
So
those are like
I may be
those are like
deterred from that.
but those are like also those are like more abstract preferential things. I'm talking about like baseline attraction. Like if you see something and you like it, and that person just happens to be trans, I don't think. But like the reason, okay, because you do have two different types of dudes that are into trans, right? You have the ones where they genuinely just they're in their mind they just see like, oh, that's a woman, like their brain just registers it as a woman, and then there's another guy that's like, oh, it's a trans, like, oh, it's the best of both worlds. I like the penis and the girliness and everything combined, and those are like two different types of guys.
Yeah,
So
Japanese have
yeah.
like a cartoon of Futanari where they add penises onto female characters. Is that
The
some
Epstein
homosexual?
files, they wrote that one of the biggest fantasies of men is a woman with a penis.
Whose
That's
fantasy?
in an
Ain't
email.
mine.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That was in an
That's
email in
huge.
the Epstein files.
So,
that's
but
huge cope.
those
That's
same
huge
people
cope.
have those same people have pedophilic sexual urges.
Yeah,
You think that?
that's not the type of people you really want to
A
be.
lot of men are pedos though.
No, that's not correct either. Because pedophilia for like that talks about like children, right? I don't think most men are attracted to children. Now, possibly a young, like even Megan Fox just had a snippet where she was talked about being on Bad Boys 2 at 15, and because she was so young, she couldn't be in any scenes with alcohol or at the bar. Long story short, James Cameron dumped water on her and had her titties and nipples going out. This is in the movie. You can look this up. You guys were possibly jerking off to a 15-year-old girl, which would be considered underage in America, right?
Only,
But
but
not
this
in
is
Europe,
this is kind of what
baby.
we're understanding.
Not in Europe.
Slowly starting to learn, right? Is that in America, correct? That is the age, but in Europe, it's not. In Europe, 14 in many countries.
Exactly.
Just look it up right
No,
now.
no. I'm agreeing with you.
14
Wait, what?
is
That's
considered
wait.
legally
Age of
consenting.
consent. Age of consent is different from what is considered pedophilia.
No, that's what I'm. That's the point I'm making. No,
though.
that's the exact point I'm making. That I'm
And
saying
age of
children
consent
shouldn't
is
be getting.
mostly regarding people around the same age. So that means if you're 14, you can consent to sex with someone who's like 14, 15, 16. Like that's
And
kind of
so
what
when we
that
talk
means.
about if you're consenting at 14, when we talk about pedophilia, you shouldn't be a pedophile at a legally consenting 14-year-old.
But
now,
this
in
legal.
America,
I don't know. That one might be too much for YouTube. That might be too much for YouTube over here. Ask queer Muslim youth. Dude, let me see what that group is about.
So when you say that, do you mean like debating?
Yeah, I guess it's a lot. It's like really beneficial for like that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be reading up and learning information, it seems it'd be kind of useless to do that unless you're gonna share it through like some type of medium. Don't you think?
I mean, I'm in a server called Politics, so
That's true. That is very much true.
I
No,
came in.
but
Go ahead, buddy.
no, Petra, look at the imps. What the fuck did I just
Okay.
send?
I was
Fuck
wondering,
did I just?
is there any queer Muslim
Dude,
youth
I
here?
sent the fuck. Oh my!
Yes.
I did it twice.
Is queer Muslim youth here?
So he's in like Korea now, right? He was in fucking
Yes.
Texas for like 4 months, and he pissed me off enough. I almost bought a damn bus pass, go kick his ass.
I just wanted somebody to explain that to me. How can you be queer and Muslim?
How can you be Christian Muslim?
So you're
You can't.
queer and you believe in Allah.
I just-
You're queer and you believe in Allah.
Okay, so you believe you follow the Quran?
Yes.
Okay.
Did
So
I?
and the Quran is cool with that?
Yup.
Same thing as people that are Christian that are gay.
Yeah, I don't believe that Christianity promotes that or is cool with that.
Yeah, and I believe no one gives a
Okay,
fuck
that's why
what you think.
Christianity isn't the best.
Well, I mean,
Okay, I found it.
that's
I
probably
found
why
it. I
you should
found it.
turn to Christianity. If you saying the Quran is totally down with not only you being young but being gay, and that's what I didn't know that. I'm learning a lot about the Quran.
And why are you
Oh,
interested?
period.
You said, why am I
It-
interested?
Aren't
Well,
yeah,
I
are you
just
Christian
real-
or something?
Am I a
I just
Christian?
realized.
Yeah,
I just
you're a
realized.
Christian.
Yeah, I'm a
in the
Christian.
chat.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know, there's tons of gay Christians, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, can we stop talking about that? Hi, Ribis.
Hi.
Yeah, but
How
like
have you
Ethan
been?
I
is a
am
gay
so
Christian.
fucking sick.
Well, I think that people claim a lot of things,
Ribis,
just like you can claim you're a basketball player and then kick a
Ribis,
rock and
I
think that's a
recently
sport.
converted to Islam.
Oh,
Oh,
you
well,
did?
good for you if it's a good thing for you.
Okay, well,
Well,
Yes.
you know. Hold on. Let me get this fucking chat on my iPhone.
yeah, I think people claim a lot of things nowadays.
Yeah. Let me ask you something. Do you still? Hold on. There's some good counter arguments to that. I got to remember.
Okay, I'm getting overstimulated.
Oh shit. Yeah.
You sound like it.
Moving on. Moving on from that.
Y'all don't want to talk with me no more because I asked a question? That's rude.
How old are you?
How old
are
am
you,
I?
sir?
I'm
Yeah.
youth. I'm one of the youth.
Are you under the age of 18 or above?
I'm over the age of 18.
By how many years?
What are y'all trying to figure out? Trying to dox me? What's going on here? I can't just talk to gay
Yeah,
youth.
how are you gonna dox you by your
Listen,
age?
no one can dox people based on their age.
Well, why do y'all need to know my exact age? What you want my birth
Because you
certificate to?
sound 35.
And what does that have to
Yeah,
do
you
with
see,
anything? I got
You
questions.
do sound pretty old, not gonna lie.
yeah, it's because you say you're a youth. You sound like you're in your 30s.
Okay, well, what's
Yeah,
wrong
bro,
with that?
like
Is it
you're
wrong? Are you guys ageist or something?
Yeah, you are far from youth, bitch.
Are you an ageist?
Like people think that I'm
Yes,
30
I'm
because of the way my
100%.
voice can
I'm
be.
100% ageist.
Yeah, that dude
Like
sound like
people
Winnie
think
the Pooh. He sound like he at least 50 years old. Are y'all serious?
me,
Yeah,
and I'm
you.
24.
Well, you
I'm
sound like
24.
3 times that.
Well, Petra's seen what I look like, so
Oh my
I can
gosh.
tell you I'm not.
You sound like you telling me right now you don't sound like Winnie the Pooh?
Okay, you telling me right now you don't sound like you fucking work at a pub and get paid $12 an hour, bitch.
You got to do better than that, man. You said you were stimulated. You sound very
At the
understimulated.
Trust me,
age
she can get stimulated. She
That's a
has
she? That's
stuff that goes on.
That's insane.
It's a lot of bass in your voice.
I go by they, them.
Okay, well I go
Okay,
by
they
King
do.
Jack.
I go
You
by
know,
shut your
Jack,
fucking
that
mouth.
has
King Jack,
very
get the
little
fuck out
bass
of
in your
here. Like,
voice.
I
You're
don't.
commenting a lot on others.
So here's something that I'm interested in. So you think that a perfect Christian, right, follows only select things, right? Because you say being gay is wrong, and you're not a Christian, but there's a lot of shit that Christians do that is not in
I'm a
the Bible and against the Bible. Okay. Okay. Do you walk on the Sabbath?
Nope, absolutely not.
Nope. Have you ever walked on the
Fake
Sabbath?
Christian.
Nope. Don't work.
Okay.
Don't work on the Sabbath.
Fake
Have you ever touched
Christian.
the skin of a dead pig?
No, never have. And what you're doing right now is you're trying to equate Old Testament traditions to New Testament.
Okay, that's what y'all do too. That's
we
what
don't.
y'all do.
That's not what Christians
Yes,
are
you do.
supposed to do. You know what Jesus
Well, that's
said?
what happens. That's a still, yeah.
Well, do you want
Jesus
to know the truth or
blessed
not?
the
Jesus said he
Jesus
came to
blessed the
fulfill the
gay
law.
couple.
Petra, I
He
find
said he came to
religion
fulfill the law. So,
retarded, so I'm gonna go to a different chat.
he's running. He, she, they running.
But I think that you just have a little bit too much bigotry in your heart.
How do you know? You didn't even talk to me yet. I didn't say. I said I wanted to learn more
Then
about
why
gay
would you
youth.
be so against? Well, why would you be so against it and say that people who are look? I'm not a part. I don't debate politics. I'm a loyal mind, so
Okay.
I can be sloppy with this shit.
Yeah, he's a
But
free spirit. He's a
I
free
believe
free
you.
spirit.
spirit.
You and
But
Eeyore.
no, I actually have an associate's in criminal justice,
Oh,
so I think more based on law
Associates.
than I do. Yeah, because I have a disability, and it was a free ride to
okay.
go
Well,
that route.
I'm happy
Why
for you.
not? And I'm working on a bachelor's, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
But
literally
anyway,
don't want to talk
But he was going to
to him
ask a
anymore,
question. I wanted to hear your question,
guys.
sir.
but,
Let me
but,
stop.
Before
but my
ban.
question is,
No,
right,
that's not gonna happen.
my question really becomes, right, so there was a friend of mine, and I'm going to explain this, who is a Catholic now, right?
Uh-huh.
And I mean, he was a fanboy, and then he said that the reason that he was gay, or whatever you want to call it, was because of pornography, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's heavily taught in the churches. I've talked with a pastor in my church about it, and he said everything stimulates from a traumatic sexual event or an event in the life. I don't talk to that pastor anymore, just for context, and that only happened in November.
Okay.
What I don't get is why people think that someone can be gay and not Christian at the same time. I think there's a separation in it where someone can fully believe and accept Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior and practice the beliefs. But at the same time, they can have that chemistry mindset where they are not straight, they are gay, or they are lesbian, or they are whatever they want to do. However, they are. Because I don't like the word that a lot of people, LGBTQ, would say who they want to be. I say it more like who they are. Because
Yeah,
I think
but
that makes more sense.
yeah, if I can respond to it, because I think a lot of people have these questions about Christianity, and it really comes down to the Bible does command Christians to be changed. It commands them to be new creatures. Just like in First
Right.
Corinthians 6, it says flee from sexual morality. And so what it does is it's telling you as a Christian, you have become a new creature. God has given you the power to change. It'd be different if he didn't. It'd be different if you were just on your own. But once you
Well,
come to know Jesus Christ, you become a new creature. You can change.
well, let me ask you this. Here's something that many
Okay,
people don't
can we change the topic?
Why
Can
y'all
we
don't want
change
to
the
talk about
Yeah,
topic?
this?
Petro, I want to ask this last thing because this is something
Yeah,
that
we having
might
a good conversation. I'm
be
not being
Because
something.
rude.
we're here to celebrate the beginning of Ramadan. We're here to celebrate the beginning of Ramadan, not fucking Jesus' birth. Like, we're not Christians here.
Well,
Thank
we're
you.
not talking
I'm
about
just going to ask.
Christmas. What are
I'm
you
just going
talking
to
about?
ask this. I'm just going to ask this last question, right? So, with me, right, when it comes to I'm gay,
Okay.
and I also am not sexual at all. I don't have sexual fantasies. I don't want to have sex with people. I don't think about that way. But I
Good.
think that the companion is a male. People
Okay.
always misconstrue that sexuality is built on sexual desires with another person.
All
With
right.
me, I am so damn asexual that I get freaked out about anything that has to do with sex. So I just think about solely the person that I'm interested in, and it just happens to fall into the male category.
Okay.
Where the hell does that come from?
Where does it come from?
Yeah.
It can come from several different places. It can come from, and people don't want to hear this, it can come from a lot of childhood trauma. It can come from a
What a
lot of upbringing. They did studies that show like two twins who have the same exact DNA, the same exact makeup, and one of them will have something happen to them where they will have more gay tendencies than the other one. So it's proven that you're not necessarily born with a gay gene, but you can absolutely learn it from behavior. And so I'm not blaming somebody for having traumatic things happen to them. I actually feel like those type of people and that have that, we should have compassion on them. But at the same time, I'm also not going to go out of my way and say that they cannot change because the Bible says you can become a new creature through Christ.
Okay. All right. Well, there was a enlightening conversation, but I think that Petra wants to end it now.
Okay.
So
I'm not going to bother y'all no
that's
more,
just the
okay?
way. Well, thank you. Have a good day.
You have
Can
a
I
good
ask you a
one.
couple of questions,
You
or
too.
Yeah, I mean, you talking to me or somebody else?
I'm talking to you, Bravo?
Yeah, you can ask me whatever. I'm not gonna be mean or anything like that.
So it's kind of, do you think homosexuality is caused by a single trait, or it's caused by a multitude of traits interacting with one another?
That's
Or
actually a
do you
good
think it's
question.
situational or contextual?
Okay, yeah, that's an actual good question because some people will say it's a single. I think it can be a combination of a bunch of different things, but I think ultimately it doesn't matter from the Christian perspective because, like I said before, the Bible compares you being dead in your trespass of sin like you didn't have life before you knew God. And then once you know God, you can be made alive and made into a brand new creature. So anything that you have in your past, God will forgive you and change you. So it's almost like no excuse for anybody who even comes from the crazy background that I came from. There's no excuse, you know? So
Well,
go ahead.
yeah, but those things aren't mutually exclusive. There are
What do you
people
mean?
who are gay and Christian,
Well,
and there are people who believe it's a sin. While
yeah, see, I would
practicing.
disagree with you there. I would disagree with you there. And the reason
You can
why is
disagree with
go ahead.
Well, there are alcoholic Christians, there are rapist Christians, there are Christians who murder, there are Christians who are child rapists, there are
You
Christians who
think
do
so?
horrendous acts.
Because the Jesus
Yes.
said, "My sheep hear
And
my voice, I know them, and they follow me." Jesus Christ would never be cool with somebody being a continual rapist or celebrating their sin. So we have pride parades, we have people that go around and they say we love our sin, and the Bible says you cannot be a slave to sin and a slave to God. You have to choose one.
Well, not
You know, it's
necessarily. Those things aren't
I'm gonna
mutually
s-
either. You can sin and still be a Christian.
You can sin and be a
I'm gonna s-
Christian. I agree. You can sin and be a Christian, but you cannot be a slave to sin and be a Christian. You cannot continue in sin and be a Christian. Would you agree to that?
Not necessarily. It
Really?
depends contextually. Some
You can
people
give your
towards the end
life
of their
over to
life
sin and
will
be a
make
Christian?
people do that all the time.
I'm
I mean, there are people who are extremely sinful, but still identify with Christian ideology.
They
I mean, it's a
identify with
matter.
it, but you can
There's
identify with being a
nothing.
basketball player. That don't make you one.
yeah.
Well, there's nothing structurally that says that horrible people or people who continuously commit acts of sin cannot be Christian,
Well,
even
yes, it
if they're
does. In
not.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, it says, those who engage in these things will not inherit the kingdom of God.
There was the church that I go to, right? That I used to go to, who did that. The same person that said the sexual shit about forming gay is the same church that will allow the child rapists to come into the church.
And that should
But
not be,
Shane,
would you agree that that should not happen?
I totally agree.
Right. That's not good that those things happen. And know that you pointing out that hypocrisy is pointing out something that should change, not something that should be the rule, right?
Is your name Downs by any chance?
Mine is Jack.
Jack, okay. Swear to God, you sound like a lawyer that I used to do things with. His name was Terrence Downs.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say
But
those
okay.
are things that point out the wrongs of society and not the rights, not ways that it should be, things that ways it shouldn't be.
I agree. Yeah, once I found out that hypocrisy within my church, and I thought, okay, this is one of the best churches ever that I've ever been a part of. I kind of praised it for a bit. But I found out that there was members of that church that were aggravated sexual molesters that they allowed in. And they would continue to do it. And my biggest trigger, I'd say, is a sex offender.
Yeah.
And I don't feel how long they have been out of prison or if they rehabilitated because I was a victim of sexual assault.
That's sad. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I don't want you to miss that either.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not good. That's not good, and that shouldn't have happened.
there was a huge level of acceptance, and like, no, I'm not gonna tolerate. I'm not even gonna entertain a sex offender at all.
And I agree with you.
I
You shouldn't. You shouldn't have to.
Yeah, and that's what that judge does. And I found this out because her point's exactly right. There's a lot of organizations, there's a lot of Christians out there that will welcome those type of people. And one of the things that triggered me so much, I was in a men's group. We were doing this on a Wednesday night,
Mm-hmm.
and I live in Fort Worth. I'm just going to disclose that. So we were in an area over there, and there was this guy that was saying, okay, I had this charge, and I was being welcomed to this church, right?
Uh-huh.
And they said that, okay, you should not tell them that you were a sex offender.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, that's probably right. And he got mad about it, the way that he was describing it. He was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to basically say, I'm going to proudly tell people what happened, what I did. And I thought to myself, I had to walk out of that thing and go home. Because
Yeah.
I was like, who in their right mind would proudly boast that they were a sex offender at
Yeah,
one
I
time?
think the
And
reason why people get so confused is because they see things like that. You know what I mean? They see wrongs enacted right in front of them, and they don't know what to do with that. So they look at the church as a whole and they say, if people are cool with this, then I'm not cool with them. And I understand that completely. But what I would say is that don't let that harden your heart towards God, because
uh,
if there is a God out there and he has a way for you to live and he has the power to change you, don't harden your heart to it, because you could be hardening your heart to a such more fulfilling life that comes through the change that only Jesus Christ can do. And who and I'm not telling you that just to convert you. I'm telling you that because it's happened to me.
yeah, it has.
Well, not in the terms of homosexuality, but I would say coming from a life of sin to not living a life of sin anymore, God changed me, and nobody can deny the change that God does. I've seen it in several people's lives. So I would say open your mind that God can, and ask God to change you, instead of what a lot of people do is they want God to approve of the lifestyle that they live. Instead of asking God, hey, God, if you are really God, if you truly are who you say you are, please change me. And I believe you'll be surprised with what God does.
Yeah, exactly right.
So the issue, this is not consistent with our contemporary understanding of sexuality. Like systematic data has consistently shown that there is no successful way to convert someone. If someone is genuinely homosexual or has homosexual tendencies, it's foundational. Like you can't extract those tendencies. Those tendencies can be socially muted, but that's different than destructing the sexuality as a whole.
You know what? I'm
So
glad you said that.
asking God wouldn't.
I'm
I
glad
mean,
you
do
said
you
that,
have
because that
any
shows the
evidence to
power of
support what you're
God, or
saying?
that shows the power of God again, because I know people who have come out of that. So would you look at them and say, no, you're lying?
Not necessarily, but at the same time, identifying with something and the state of something is different. You can identify with being homosexual with not being homosexual. And even then, it's kind of contextual. I don't think sexuality is one thing or the other, but systemically or ac across the nation, it's hard to convert many people. For
I wouldn't
people who are
say.
genuinely homosexual or
Go
not
ahead.
socially influenced, it's not possible.
Well,
But for
this is what I
people
would
who have
say. I
been
would say you're
socially
right about it
influenced
being
or
you're right about it being
influenced,
impossible for the most part. That's why you need God. You need the miraculous power that can only come from the creator of all things.
no, but that power isn't God. That power is circumstance.
No, I
So for people
disagree.
who are genetically influenced from a foundational aspect to them, like
Hmm.
foundational sexuality to them, that's different than being socially or environmentally
Oh,
influenced to act a certain way in the future.
But here's the thing, you can disagree with it on all types of scientific levels, but then when you meet somebody who has come from a complete life of that and changed and did a 180, how can you disagree with that?
Because It's not the fact that Jesus is doing it, it's the fact that they had the motivation to change and destruct their early childhood traumas, which influenced them to act the way they're
How do you
acting
know that
or
though? Because they're
be that
telling me
way.
it was Jesus Christ. If they're telling you with their own words that it was something, why would you not believe them?
Some people say when they sleep, they see aliens. People can make any sort of claim that doesn't extract from empirical
Yeah,
data.
but why would we side with what you view rather than what they are saying and they seen and have done with their own eyes in their own life? Why would we trust you over them?
Because there are numerous statistics to show that homosexuality is largely influenced by sexuality. Homosexuality is largely influenced by genetics, meaning
Right.
altering or trying to disenfranchise these genes is extremely difficult.
But I also just
Even if
talked about a
sexuality
study
is
that
not
talks
primarily
about
composed of genetics, it still plays a significant role.
I've also talked about the studies that show that it's not genetic. That you can
Then
have two
why are you
twins and one will be gay and one will not be gay. And they haven't
that
they've
doesn't
had
support
a
our modern understanding of sexuality.
You
There are
said what
studies
now?
that do say that, but that
I
doesn't
gotta go. I
support
gotta
what
make a
most
call.
modern say of sexuality.
You said I'm sorry. I didn't hear you because he said he had to make a call. You can repeat it.
You're in a statistical minority and it's not well substantiated.
Even
Certain
if it's a
claims, there are
go
certain
ahead.
studies that do support that, but they're often insubstantial and the sheer quantity of them is significantly lower in today's day and age.
Well, here's the
But
thing.
whatever.
Even if I'm not even talking about a substantial group of people. I'm talking about if there is someone who comes out of that lifestyle and says, I came out of this because of miraculous power from God, who are you to disagree with them?
You're right. I can't entirely deflect that or disagree, but I can hold them at a point of contention or maybe them to ask themselves the following questions. Did they experience early childhood trauma between the ages of 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 that could have influenced their patterns for the behavior? Were
Okay.
they environmentally or socially influenced in a way to act homosexual? Were they peer pressured? I mean, all these things matter. I
Mm-hmm.
think there are nearly always realistic explanations we can have for someone being socially or environmentally influenced to perform these acts than just attributing it to Jesus Christ. Now, maybe there is a subset where none of these things apply or Jesus is somehow doing it and it's hard to measure. These
Yeah.
things cannot be measured empirically. We can't form statistics about it.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to measure really any of it because you're really going off of that person's life. You're going off of what that person experienced. And if somebody was to say, as I know several people to say, and you could look it up on YouTube right now, several hundreds of people who have come out of the homosexual lifestyle and have said that it's because of the power of God. We don't have any place to disprove them because we don't know their experiences and what they lived through and what their mind did and the change that happened in them. It's no possible way for us to know. So all we got to do is go off of their word.
Well, what if someone said it was through the power of like their god or different versions of their religion? Like, what if someone it was said from the power of a in the respects of Arabic, Jew,
Uh-huh.
Judas, like whatever it may be, like when it was like Jewish, Islamic, any other faith? I mean, it doesn't really validate that it's happening because of a god.
Well, then I would say then you can do a test study on that because then you could say we got three people that say the Quran or believing Islam stopped them, and then we have three people that say this and that, so it kind of cancel each other out. But if we don't have those, if we're gonna go off of studies and all these things, then we're gonna have to at least take what people say into consideration because a lot of these case studies that we're doing, all it is asking people of their experiences. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
definitely. But I just mean, I don't know if this is like um objective or I don't know if this is entirely accurate just because the foundation of it is belief.
I
Even
would
these
agree
people
with you
don't
there.
have anything substantial to prove that it's because of Jesus Christ.
I would agree
So
with you
that's
there
the thing.
because it's a spiritual thing is no way to necessarily measure it. You're correct about that. You can't go and just like, take somebody's blood and say, well, look, this person is a Christian. That's not how it works. But what I'm saying is, if you got hundreds of people who came from that lifestyle and they're saying it's because of Christianity, I haven't seen a lump sum of people come from that lifestyle and say it's because of Islam. I haven't seen. If you know of that, please point me to it. I would love to see it. But
There
I
are
have
numerous
seen it because of
examples.
Christianity. I mean,
I
my
nearly
mom.
researched
Go
it,
ahead. Go
but
ahead. My fault. I'm not
I'm
trying to interrupt you. Go ahead.
nearly very certain there are people who have been gay and then reverted to Islam. Like,
I would love to see that. I would love to see their testimonies and them talk for like about an hour about how the love of Allah brought them out of homosexuality. I wouldn't mind looking into that.
okay, let's broaden this conversation a bit. Outside of sexuality, people attribute other shortcomings of their life and then resolving those shortcomings to other faiths. You can agree
Hmm.
with that, right?
You
So
said,
people say the
my
power
fault. Can you
of
repeat that
Allah
again,
or the
that
power
phrase?
of Islam.
You
Okay,
said
for
people.
example, people often say sinful behavior and their undoing of sinful behavior is attributed to the religion. For instance, I
Uh-huh.
stopped smoking because of the Quran, or I
True.
stopped drinking because of the Quran, whatever. Just my point being, you can attribute sins or shortcomings to following this religion.
You can. You're
I
right
really,
about that. People can lie and they can make up stuff, and then they can also just be convinced by other people around them. All those
yeah,
things
but
that you're
who's to
saying are
say that
true.
people from, okay, that's true, but who's to say that people believe in Jesus are any more accurate? Like,
You're right about that in the sense of there's no real way to do a scientific study. But what I can tell you is when you see one of the reasons why I personally love Christianity and testimonies is I know people, like for instance, there's a guy at my church, right? He stopped. If you know anybody, and I know a lot of people who I grew up in a hood, right? So I know a lot of people who are addicted to heroin and crack cocaine and things like that. For somebody to drop something like heroin cold turkey is miraculous. I've seen people go through withdrawals. I have never seen that done the way that this guy did it when he came and had a relationship with Jesus Christ. Now you could say there's no scientific way to prove that and this and that, but I seen it with my own eyes. So I
I
knew him
think
before when he was drug addicted, and I know him now.
I
So
don't think this is an issue in itself, but I think it's hard to apply your faith system to what you ideologically or principally align yourself with.
what do you mean
I
by
think
that?
you can acknowledge it's a sin or maybe not allowed in your religion, but you can also have a nuance there where, okay, but I think it's socially acceptable, and these people should have their own social, legal, and overall institutional protections. I think that's
Yeah, I would disagree
distinction.
with you there, though. I would disagree. But I
In
see
what
what, and
way?
plenty of people have that perspective. But maybe I need some more of your perspective on that. What do you mean by that?
It means that you can understand something being unacceptable in the context of a religion, but you can also see it as something that's socially or morally acceptable. Well, maybe not morally if you're following Christian
Right.
ideology or theology, but it's being socially acceptable at the very least.
I think there's plenty of things that are socially acceptable in our society because our society is broken. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't stand against it if you know what's right. If it became socially acceptable for people to,
Ethically acceptable.
you said if it's, go ahead, repeat that.
I guess those mean the same things. I'm trying to find a better word than morally. I guess legally acceptable then would be the best thing, or at least socially acceptable. I'm trying to find a better term because it's not just social
I would say
acceptable.
Legally.
ethically.
Yeah, there's plenty
Well,
of things that I
ethically
think are
is just
legal
the
and
most
still wrong as
acceptable.
well. But I think socially there's a lot of things that are legally and socially accepted, but are still absolutely wrong.
Like what specifically?
Abortion will be the biggest one in my opinion.
Wise. I mean, so many other examples.
Yeah, I think that especially with the sex culture that we have with people being on OnlyFans and doing stuff where they're promoting sexuality. I think that's absolutely not right, but it's socially acceptable. I think people going out and get smashed drunk at parties. I think people doing things like you know, having a work wife, stuff like that. I think that's absolutely socially acceptable. People make videos about these things, and it's totally, in my opinion, absolutely wrong.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
I mean, I think it's unfortunate that you believe that, not that it's the actions themselves are necessarily bad. Personally, I mean, I think it's fine if people want to utilize their youth in such a way where they party, etc. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I
And get
think we would
abortions.
disagree. Yeah, we would disagree because I think a lot of the people believe in moral relativity and they don't even have a grounds to say anything is
I just
wrong.
want you to know, I think you mostly disagree because I'm assuming you're Christian and um you hold like a purity concept. And if you know anything about purity culture, it's inherently derived off of like pedophilic ideology.
No, I don't believe in purity
Damn.
culture.
Wait, but huh? I mean, wait. If you don't believe in purity culture,
Huh?
wait. If you don't believe in purity culture, what's wrong with people like being promiscuous?
Because purity culture has this connotation that we're gonna make these vows and live pure because we live this idealistic Christian life. I don't believe that. I believe the reason why you do things as a Christian is because God called you to live a certain way. It's not because you gotta impress your friends and get a purity ring and go to Bible camp. It's because you really believe that this is
Hey
the best thing
Alexa,
for society.
turn off bedroom bulb.
This
But
is
like,
it's obedience to God.
I guess, but like, if aren't you basically advocating for purity, essentially?
No, actually, no, because what happens is this. I believe you can come from a totally degenerate life and still turn your life to God, be forgiven, and be changed and become a new creature. What I think is that people think that I'm telling you, be like me. No, I'm saying turn to God, whatever lifestyle you live, and He'll change you. I'm not telling you live a pure life to try to reach God. You can never do anything to reach God. Only thing you can do is turn to Him and He'll change you, and then you can obey God, not the other way around.
Wait, so why do you think people should not be promiscuous? Like
Why
just
do
in
I
itself.
think? Okay,
Yeah, what
I
is your
think it has
response?
terrible results for young women. Absolutely terrible. We can talk about young men in a second, but absolutely terrible. I've seen it with my own eyes. Like I told you guys, I grew up in a bad neighborhood. The promiscuousness that went on there, I can't tell you the damage that it did to society there. Nothing good
What do you
came
think
from
it
it.
did? Just like what did it do specifically?
Well, for one, there were more black people aborted than they were born. So that's a big problem. Then there are fatherless homes. Then there were all types of arguments and fights in my neighborhood because so and so was sleeping with so and they thought they had a relationship but they didn't, and all types of playing around, men playing the field and couldn't be boys growing up not knowing what loyalty is because their father was sleeping with everybody. All types of problems. I can't even count how many problems.
Like, do you think from a Christian perspective though, what do you think? Like, do you think, how is it, do you think it's not acceptable in the religion? Or it's against Christian practice or teaching, and if so, why?
Do I believe that promiscuity is against
Yeah,
Christianity?
is
Absolutely it is.
promiscuity.
The Bible says marriage is honorable and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. And what that means is that you have a way to live out your sexual gratification, and that's with your wife. The Bible says that Solomon wrote in Proverbs and in Songs of Solomon about enjoying the wife of your youth. You're not supposed to go out and be just slinging your seed to everybody. The black community specifically has suffered tremendously from this.
Okay, I think I see what you're saying.
think it's an oversimplification of the way that people like interact and how, even within your neighborhood, how things can be. Obviously, if folks got in one relationship for a long time, there'd be less confusion about like who's in a relationship with who. But I don't know, the way that I see it, like if people want to be promiscuous, as long as they're doing it safely, it's like whatever. And have all the sex that you want to have, fine. They'll grow out of it. Most people do.
I don't think.
Well,
I
yeah,
don't know
but
about that, buddy.
there are still social repercussions to that, even if you want to have like fun. Like there are moral, mental, and sociological repercussions to doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. But like I don't think those repercussions are necessarily problematic as long as you're doing it safely.
Really? You don't think fatherless
Yeah.
homes are
You think doing drugs
problematic?
is problematic? Like really
Yeah,
hardcore
but that's what I'm
drugs?
saying. I'm saying as long as you're doing it safely. If people are gonna be, creating children and like breaking homes up, etc. I don't agree with those things.
But how do you
I
do it
think being
safely when you can break through a condom or a condom can slip off?
people
It's significantly
well,
safer with birth control or condoms. Like
y-
And
exactly,
birth
right? Like
control has a
nothing.
terrible effect on women.
Yeah,
anything
but
with a
nothing's
condom.
gonna be 100%. You
Right,
shouldn't
but
view it as
well,
that.
there is one thing. There is one thing that's 100%.
If you choose not to, like, if you abstain from any sexual activity, obviously. But I'm saying if you're going to be engaging in sexual activity, there's no 100%, but there is at least like a 90% if you're doing it properly, like condoms or birth control,
Yeah,
or like
then that
supportive, like
doesn't
Yeah,
just
change
birth
the
control.
social
similar to
nonsense,
drugs.
that goes on with it. Whenever you're promiscuous and you have all these relationships, just look on TikTok now. Every other fight that these young kids are having is so and so slept with my man or this and that's my girl. And this type of stuff can be avoided, man. It's all this drama because these young kids are sleeping with each other. It's terrible.
Wait, haven't they been doing that for millennia?
Yeah, and look
Been
how bad
sleeping
it's
with
gotten. Ever since we promoted promiscuity in the 70s, it hasn't gotten better.
I think all over the world. Kids
Yeah,
are
you're probably right. It's gotten promiscuity, but it's specifically in the West. We are pushing it. We're the ones in control of Hollywood. We're the ones making the most biggest selling movies. We're pushing this promiscuity across the whole world. And look at the results. Especially, and I always bring up the black community because that's what I know. When I see how people act, listen to our rap songs, listen to what we talk about, listen to our respect for. Have we gotten more respectful for women? Be honest.
right. But you don't wait, so are you saying you hate modern culture?
Modern culture is terrible. Yes.
I mean, nothing much we can really do about it. It's what sells.
Well, that's a dark way to look at life. But yeah, modern culture is terrible.
I mean, it is really the case. Like people are gonna always be having sex, and you can't really stop them.
That's
The only
true.
thing we can do as of right now is promote sexual education
Yeah,
to the
healthy
youth.
boundaries, yes and no,
That's one way to
consent.
look at it, but then you got to take what comes with that. When you get these kids and they got all these, the young girls and they got multiple partners sleeping around and they got all these issues going around that they're saying is from that, then take what comes with that. Well, you guys, you know what? Thanks for having me on, you guys. Everybody's been very kind to me. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't necessarily expect that. Y'all having a good conversation. I ain't gonna interrupt you guys all night, but I appreciate you guys for at least talking to me. All right.
Yeah, and thanks
No
for not
problem.
being a weird, like, conservative clown, because
I
there's a
try
lot of
not.
those on this server.
I get it. I try not to be mean with because I know people don't always agree with what I say. So I'm
Yeah.
not trying to push my beliefs on y'all. I just like that if somebody else can say their point of view, I should be able to say my point of view as well. But I appreciate
I agree with
you
you.
guys have been very kind. Even if we disagree. So I can't really
Right,
say
exactly.
yeah. So if we'll talk in the future and hopefully we could be friends.
That's the hope.
All
Thanks,
right.
bro.
Cool.
Catch you guys later. Okay. Well, that was the first night. We gonna be doing this again. Since y'all people for some reason think I can't interact with strangers. I hope you guys enjoyed that. This is Jack Bravo. We're gonna be trying to do this every Monday. Queer Muslim youth. Look at let me move. Ask queer Muslim. I shouldn't put my picture there like they represent me. Queer Muslim youth. This is the world we gotta get in because the darkness is spreading. The darkness is spreading. If we don't go into the darkness and show the light, who will? And the thing of why I know that is necessary is because whenever I go into these spaces, no matter which one I go into them, I will dominate any space that I'm in because the truth is absolute. And it will absolutely destroy every lie. All right, I'll see you guys later.